This story kicks off by reminding us how the world went from boring business meetings to total chaos. On a rooftop, our mysterious new protagonist wonders if people would cheer or boo his death wish. Looming over the city is a ridiculously tall tower, radiating some serious high-ranking demon energy. Tipping his hat with a smirk, he seems way too excited for a life-or-death game against demons. His face is revealed, and yeah, he is calling this whole apocalyptic showdown a fun game. This story then flashes back 1 year when dungeons just started appearing randomly across the globe. Out of these dungeons poured monsters that laughed off modern weapons, plunging the world into total anarchy. And in a shocking twist, this whole apocalypse was just a carbon copy of a popular MMO great. To fight back, people began awakening into players, basically getting game classes in real life. These new heroes formed guilds, using their unique job classes to finally fight back effectively. This brings us to the current raid against the high-ranking demon Baltzafar, a real nasty piece of work. A team from the Platinum Guild decides on the brilliant strategy of everyone attacking at once. Their fire mage is already counting her chickens, dreaming of a higher guild rank and victory barbecue. This warrior charges in with a spear as the mage hurls a massive fireball at the demon. And the demon boss just stops their ultimate attack with one hand, barely even trying. That victory barbecue is officially cancelled as the demon's purple energy blast closes in on her. His attack connects, absolutely wrecking the frontline and sending players flying everywhere. So much for that promotion, 2 of their strongest are down for the count instantly. Their leader cannot even process it, realizing they got completely wiped by just one attack. Baltzafar looks down, deciding it is more fun to play with his food than kill them outright. Baltzafar is not done yet, casually weaving another spell with a flick of his wrist. Suddenly, the guild leader finds himself in a volcanic hellscape, completely bewildered. Standing on a crumbling cliff, he is justifiably freaking out about their new vacation spot. This demon then appears, 10 times his normal size, to deliver a classic villain speech on human stupidity. Our warrior's internal monologue hits the panic button. Yeah, this is a total party wipe. But just then a mysterious new player casually strolls onto the scene, humming a little tune. He compliments Baltzafar on the illusion, basically giving his mind trick a 5-star review. Tipping his hat with a grin, this guy's confidence is either legendary or suicidal. Baltzafar seems genuinely surprised that a mere insect saw through his grand performance. With a snap, the illusion shatters, and they are all back in the throne room. Mind games are over. This guild leader is still reeling, sweating bullets from the sheer power of that mental attack. He finally spots the newcomer, wondering how this random dude just teleported into a boss room. Meanwhile, our boy is just admiring the loot, treating the demon's lair like an antique shop. He even starts poking at the decor, wondering if he can play with the demon's high-level toys. His treasure hunt is cut short when he senses a massive surge of demonic energy nearby. Oops. It is a pulsating dark orb, the source of the demon's power, just sitting on a pedestal. This warrior finally loses it, yelling at him to stop sightseeing in a place where level 200s get wrecked. Tipping his hat with a smirk, the kid's philosophy is simple. The worse it gets, the more fun you should have. Baltzafar powers up, demanding the frail humans entertain him more with their futile struggles. And to kick things off, he summons a literal volcano eruption to scorch them all into dust. Baltzafar's volcano spell scorches the earth, and the warrior's big takeaway is, it is a little warm. While the warrior is sweating, our boy is just calmly dissecting the demon's magic trick. Picking up a piece of debris, he explains the volcano was just a flashy illusion for this simple rock attack. Back in the throne room, the kid confirms Baltzafar is just forcing them to see these fake-outs. With a smirk, he identifies the demon's power source as a dark legacy, a high-tier item. This demon lord looks genuinely ticked off that some random kid just exposed his whole gimmick. Done with the mind games, Baltzafar just powers up a massive energy ball to erase them all. Our boy just grins, deciding if the demon wants to play. He is more than happy to join in. Activating a skill called Playful Spirit, he decides to see what the demon's toy can really do. Suddenly, the room is filled with clones of him, challenging the demon to a game of Find the Player. Baltzafar is completely stunned. This human did not just resist his power, he hijacked it. His solution is simple: if you cannot find the real one, just nuke everything. A massive ball of purple energy forms above, threatening to wipe out all the copies at once. This demon unleashes a massive beam, a screen-clearing attack meant to end this little game. It connects and every single clone disintegrates, but they were all just duds anyway. This real MC appears right beside the warrior, smugly asking who really fell for the illusion. Our boy then breaks down the boss mechanics. Big spells need a long cooldown, hence all the cheap illusions. Baltzafar is absolutely seething, having been completely outplayed and exposed by a frail human. And just as the warrior gets ready to fight, our boy casually mentions he forgot to bring a weapon. Without waiting for an answer, he just decides to borrow the warrior's spear, which starts glowing intensely. His mimic skill instantly creates a perfect copy of the warrior's spear. Then he activates God Dice, a skill that rolls for a random, chaotic effect. This golden dice spins and locks in its power, ready to supercharge his next move. With the copied spear in hand, he winds up for a throw with terrifying precision. He gives the demon a cheerful heads up. Before launching his attack, what a nice guy. That spear rockets through the air, glowing with an insane amount of borrowed power. It smashes straight through Baltzafar's defensive magic circle without even slowing down. This demon gets impaled right through the chest, completely blindsided by the attack. Baltzafar looks down in utter disbelief, furious he was taken out by a simple trick. Our boy just stands there looking cool as the demon's blood drips from above. With a smug grin, he says the whole illusion fight was pretty entertaining. This warrior is just speechless, realizing this guy was not just messing around, he soloed the boss. He is left wondering what kind of ridiculously overpowered job class this kid could possibly have. A status window reveals the answer, and it is somehow even more confusing: Jester. This warrior has never even heard of a class like that, which seems to be the whole point. We then flash back to a man sitting alone in a dark office, staring at a monitor. This was our MC's past life, a corporate slave who did not know the first thing about having fun. His eyes look completely dead, a total contrast to the chaotic player he is now. But after awakening, he has decided this is his story, to play his way through every last dungeon. This scene cuts to a quiet apartment building 1 year earlier, setting the stage for his origin. Back in his past life, his days were just endless, soul-crushing keyboard clicks. This is Yuma Anno, looking about as thrilled as a man on his way to a tax audit. His boss, Tatsuka, storms in, demanding to know why Anno is not radiating pure corporate joy. Tatsuka then gets handsy, calling him a useless leech for not hitting his impossible quota. Anno tries to defend himself, but his boss's brilliant solution is just to steal his weekends too. This guy's management style is basically just high-volume verbal abuse from morning till night. And our boy Yuma Anno, age 25, just has to sit there and take it all. His only escape from this waking nightmare was a little game called Vanaheim Online. It was a global phenomenon, hooking millions of players with its fantasy world. This game's big draw was its mythological setting and NPCs that felt incredibly real. Plus, it had deep strategic dungeons that actually required you to use your brain. But for Anno, the best part was the insane variety of job classes and character builds. For a guy whose life was a spreadsheet, this game was the only place he felt alive. In here, he was not a corporate drone, he was a hero taking down epic monsters. We see him in his element, coordinating a late-night raid with his online buddies. And look at that face. That is the first genuine smile we have seen from him this entire flashback. He wishes these gaming nights could last forever, but the real world is always waiting. Then at work, Tatsuka casually mentions he saw Anno playing over the weekend. Uh-oh. Anno's blood runs cold as he realizes his psycho boss plays the same game. Tatsuka then demands his phone, stealing his account and his last shred of happiness. Tatsuka smirks, saying Anno will not be needing his precious game items anymore. What a helpful guy. Anno absolutely loses it, begging him to take anything but the one thing that brings him joy. But Tatsuka does not just steal the account, he deletes it right in front of him, shattering Anno's entire world. This shock is so immense that his memory of the event just completely blanks out. Later that night, his phone is blowing up with messages from his guildmates wondering where he is. Lying in bed, completely broken, Anno just wishes the whole world would disappear along with his account. This next morning arrives, shattering his despair with the harsh reality of another workday. Somehow he still drags himself back to the office, his mind numbly repeating corporate slave. His only thought is hitting his quota, because the only thing worse than this is this with a pay cut. But as he walks in, something feels incredibly off, snapping him out of his daze. This office is somehow transformed into a massive, torchlit dungeon, which is not in the company handbook. He immediately sprints for the exit, but the giant gate is barred shut, trapping him inside. Then it hits him. This door is an exact copy of one from Vanaheim Online, the game he just lost. A sudden noise from behind makes him whip around, realizing he is definitely not alone in here. And there it is, a Glenfang, a low-level monster from the game, now very, very real. Before he can even process this, the creature lunges straight for him with terrifying speed. It slashes him right across the chest, and the pain is immediate and shocking. Staring at his own blood, Anno realizes this is not a nightmare. He has actually been hurt. His survival instincts finally kick in, telling him to run or become monster chow. And so begins the pathetic chase, a salaryman in a suit fleeing a demonic rat thing. Running for his life, Anno hits a fork in the path, a classic dungeon trope. With no time to hesitate, he just picks a random hallway and absolutely floors it. He finally collapses behind a barred gate, thinking he is safe for a hot second. But then he realizes the gate is a perfect copy of one from Vanaheim Online. And that means the drooling rat thing chasing him is also very, very real. Anno's brain finally connects the dots. The game's dungeons are now his reality. His mind is just racing, trying to process this world-breaking, suit-ruining development. Suddenly, a beam of light reveals a mysterious book sitting on a pedestal. Anno finds himself standing before it, completely bewildered by the sudden change of scenery. It is called Ludian's Thousand Nights of Play, which sounds way more fun than his current situation. He recognizes it as a rare NPC journal from the game, one he has never even heard of. Flipping it open, he sees this character was apparently into making poison stew with witches, and going on fishing trips with monsters to reel in some absolute units, and even getting banned from a thieves' guild for cheating at cards. What a legend. Against all odds, Anno actually lets out a little laugh. He is genuinely delighted by how free and absolutely outrageous this person's life was. It is a stark contrast to his own pathetic existence, getting berated by his boss, Tatsuka. Looking at the wild illustrations again, he feels a deep pang of jealousy. Tears stream down his face as he wishes he could live with that kind of freedom. And at that moment of pure desperation, the book begins to glow with a brilliant golden light. This book suddenly floats into the air, bathing Anno in a wholly game-changing light. He is completely stunned as the gash on his chest starts sparkling and closing up. A wave of golden energy washes over him, his body literally burning with healing power. In a flash, his sad corporate suit is gone, replaced by a slick Jester outfit. Anno's eyes go wide with the realization he is not a salaryman anymore, he is a player. His stats pop up, revealing a class he has never heard of. Jester, with some truly chaotic skills. Just as he is processing this, the gate behind him starts rattling like crazy. And of course, that little rat thing from before managed to track him all the way here. Now a player, he realizes he can fight back, but he is completely unarmed, which is a slight problem. That problem gets a lot bigger when the monster just smashes right through the gate. Anno knows it is do or die, there is no running from this one. But if this world really runs on Vanaheim Online rules, nobody knows the game better than him. With newfound confidence, he declares he can totally do this, his new powers swirling around him. His furry little stalker stares him down from the wreckage, ready for round 2. Thinking fast, Anno smashes the stone floor, grabbing a handful of pebbles for a weapon. He then winds up and pitches a tiny rock at the charging beast, a truly terrifying opening move. This Glenfang just barrels forward, completely unimpressed by his pebble-based offense. Suddenly, a sharp spike of rock shoots up from the ground, flying right alongside his pebble. Anno smirks, admitting a tiny pebble will not do any real damage on its own, of course, but he has still got a whole handful left and a plan is clearly forming. He unloads the rest of his pebbles and every single one lands as a critical hit. Anno smirks as the monster collapses, knowing his ridiculously high luck stat would pay off. His status screen confirms it. Luck is his main stat, making critical hits almost guaranteed. From the broken floor, he grabs a sharp rock fragment, getting a tiny but crucial +2 attack bonus. Armed with his new prison shiv, he rushes in to finish this thing for good. He plunges the rock straight into the monster's face for one final, decisive critical hit. And just like in the game, the Glenfang dissolves into a shower of golden particles. Anno celebrates his first kill, immediately getting a sweet level-up notification for his efforts. His stats get a nice little boost, especially his luck, which skyrockets even higher. Feeling this new power, he is finally confident he can actually survive this nightmare. Now his only goal is to find the exit and get the hell out of this dungeon office. He quickly realizes the only way out is through the boss portal waiting at the end of the hall. But as he approaches, another person is already standing there, a guy in blue armor. And this dude has the absolute creepiest, most punchable grin I have ever seen. Anno explains he leveled up a few times fighting more rat things on the way here. After killing thousands of them in Vanaheim Online, their attack patterns are basically muscle memory. He finally reaches the boss room, ready to face whatever's waiting inside. Suddenly, a chillingly familiar voice calls out his name, stopping him dead in his tracks. This armored man taunts him, saying it looks like he is handling himself pretty well. Anno's face drains of all color as he realizes who it is, his psycho boss, Tatsuka. Tatsuka casually explains he also just showed up for work, but hey, he is actually enjoying this whole dungeon thing. He is already a level 6 warrior, proudly bragging about how easy it is to grind on weak mobs. Anno just stares in horror, realizing his real-life nightmare has followed him into his fantasy one. So Tatsuka lays out his brilliant plan. Anno gets to be the bait while he swoops in for the kill. Our boy is understandably confused by this teamwork, but his boss starts another one of his charming lectures. It is the same old story: when the boss gives an order, the corporate slave obeys. And to really drive the point home, Tatsuka just dropkicks him straight into the boss room. Anno tumbles into the darkness as a massive shadow looms over him, promising a very bad day. Yep, it is a Glenfang's bigger, uglier, and extremely angry older brother ready for a snack. This beast lets out a deafening roar, clearly not a fan of uninvited guests in its murder dungeon. It immediately swipes with a massive energy claw, forcing Anno to dive for his life. Meanwhile, Tatsuka leans back, telling him to get eaten faster so the monster will calm down. What a team player. This monster's tail whips around, a blur of purple death aimed right at our boy. Anno gets absolutely decked by the attack, sent flying across the cold stone floor. Lying there helpless, he is convinced this is it, that he is just going to die for his psycho boss. But just then, a mysterious light shines down as a voice decides this train wreck is too sad to watch. Anno's eyes widen in disbelief, a glimmer of hope reflecting in his gaze for the first time. A golden whip of pure energy snakes down from above, crackling with some serious power. Suddenly, a legendary-looking adventurer appears, calling Anno one of the chosen ones, you know. Anno just stares up, completely bewildered, asking who the hell this guy is. This mysterious adventurer spirit tells him his past does not matter, he is a player now. He introduces himself as Ludian, offering to lend Anno his strength so he can finally have some fun. Meanwhile, Tatsuka is just leaning against a wall, completely confused by the sudden pause in the action. He has just noticed the boss monster has completely stopped moving and Anno is just standing there. Tatsuka absolutely loses it, screaming at Anno to hurry up and get eaten, already truly an inspiring leader. But something has completely changed in Anno's demeanor. With glowing yellow eyes, he stares down his former boss with a terrifying new confidence. Tatsuka is visibly stunned by this sudden backbone from his favorite doormat. Anno smirks, declaring that he is absolutely not Tatsuka's subordinate anymore. Ludian's spirit reappears, telling him it is time to learn how to properly use a skill, which is great timing because the giant monster is leaping down to crush him. With a cool little finger snap, Ludian activates one of Anno's new Jester abilities. A tiny star of light shoots out, hitting the massive beast square in the chest. This monster is completely shocked, its attack stopping dead in its tracks, and in a flash, the giant boss shrinks down to a tiny version of itself with Anno riding it. Ludian explains that the skill makes Anno look like a baby Glenfang, a perfect little illusion. This now tiny boss monster just looks at him with total confusion instead of wanting to eat him. It even points a claw over at Tatsuka, basically telling Anno to go take him out. Anno hesitates for a second, that corporate slave programming still running deep, but Ludian reminds him that titles are meaningless here. Tatsuka is just another pawn in the game. Ludian's voice cuts through the noise, telling Anno his real adventure starts right now. With a confident smirk, Anno finally accepts it. He is not a corporate drone, he is a player. He plants his feet firmly on the ground, a man reborn in some very stylish boots. Turning to face his tormentor, he declares that from now on, he is going to live free. Tatsuka, of course, just keeps screaming at him to hurry up and die for the team, but Anno simply points, calmly informing him that their professional relationship is terminated. His boss absolutely loses it, threatening a bad performance review in the middle of a dungeon. In response, Anno just channels his new Jester power, a ball of chaotic energy forming. He unleashes his bluff skill, a nasty little trick that alters a target's perception. A wave of disorienting light slams into Tatsuka, who has no clue what is about to hit him. This guy's face immediately contorts in pure undiluted terror as the illusion takes hold, because in his mind, he is suddenly standing before his own terrifying corporate overlord. This phantom boss starts screaming at him about work, triggering all his workplace trauma. Tatsuka instantly reverts to a stammering, bootlicking yes-man, completely broken by the sight. He even tries to throw Anno under the bus while desperately begging for a good evaluation. That is when the real boss monster taps him on the shoulder before delivering a haymaker. Tatsuka gets absolutely launched across the room by the Glenfang's massive fist. His sword goes skittering across the floor, leaving him completely defenseless. Anno just watches, pointing out that even now, Tatsuka only cares about saving his own skin. Now it is the former boss who is cornered and helpless against a monster. Oh, how the tables have turned. Tatsuka is screaming his head off as the Glenfang looms over him, ready to attack. But Anno steps right in front of him, declaring he is not going to let his ex-boss die. Ludian's spirit is absolutely delighted, impressed by this sudden change in character. And just like that, Tatsuka is a blubbering mess, begging Anno to save his skin. Anno just gives him the coldest stare, telling him to get lost and never show his face again. Not needing to be told twice, Tatsuka makes a run for it, a true leader to the very end. With the dead weight gone, Anno turns back to the boss, ready to end this fight for good. He charges straight at the massive beast, sword held high for the final blow. With a massive battle cry, he pours all his new power into one decisive strike. A brilliant golden slash of energy cuts right through the Glenfang, vaporizing it instantly. Ludian gives him a little nod of approval as the boss defeated message pops up. He gets a huge level boost, unlocks a new mimic skill, and officially clears the dungeon. A shimmering portal of light appears at the end of the stone hallway, showing him the way out. Stepping through, he finds himself back on a normal city street, the nightmare seemingly over. Anno lets out a huge sigh of relief, a genuine smile spreading across his face. But his eyes suddenly widen in shock, reflecting something that definitely should not be there. Looking up, he sees strange, winged creatures soaring between the downtown skyscrapers. A massive news screen on a nearby building confirms the absolute worst. This is a global event. This broadcast reports that monsters and dungeons have appeared all over the world, just like in a game. It gets worse. A new continent has emerged with monsters no one has ever seen before. This rest of the world, meanwhile, is having a complete meltdown about the whole apocalypse thing. People are panicking in the streets, wondering what the hell is happening to their reality. But Anno, decked out in his new Jester gear, just thinks this whole situation is getting interesting. Ludian's spirit pops up, praising him for finally looking like the hero he is supposed to be. Anno finally gets a chance to ask the million-dollar question, who exactly is this guy? With a wink, the spirit introduces himself as Ludian, just a humble jester, nothing more. Anno's brain short-circuits as he realizes Ludian is the author of the game guide he owns. His spirit guide just tells him to stop worrying and enjoy the ride, asking what is next. So Anno takes a moment, surveying the new, monster-infested city skyline for his next move. His eyes lock onto a familiar tower, a dungeon he knows all too well from the game. A sly grin spreads across his face as a brilliant, probably terrible idea starts to form. He declares he knows exactly what to do, heading straight for a glowing dungeon entrance. Inside is a treasure chest, just waiting behind a grand set of doors for someone to claim it. With a goddess statue watching over, his shadow hints he is about to do something very cheeky. He is standing right back at the entrance to the tutorial dungeon he just cleared. Ludian is understandably confused, asking why on earth they have come back to the starting area. Anno explains there is a secret sealed room here, one that holds a very special treasure chest. It is called the Goddess's Secret Treasure, and Ludian's interest is officially piqued. This is a legendary chest that in the game no one was ever able to open, and now our boy is determined to claim the unobtainable legendary item for himself. With a smug grin, Anno announces he has figured out how to crack open that impossible treasure chest. Ludian is totally on board, telling him to go nuts and treat the world like his personal playground. And with that stellar advice, the spirit guide promptly says he is taking a nap, peak mentorship. Anno just sighs, already used to his ghostly companion popping in and out whenever he feels like it. So he finds himself back at the entrance of the beginner's labyrinth, ready for round 2. Standing before the massive goddess statue, he prepares to rerun the entire tutorial sequence. A glowing goddess projection appears, welcoming him as a hero meant to protect the world. Our boy immediately recognizes the dialogue. It is the exact same script from the game's opening. She continues her pre-programmed speech, telling him to fight his way to the dungeon's exit. This goddess then offers her blessing with a warm, welcoming gesture. For a moment, Anno is genuinely impressed, admitting she looks pretty divine in person. But the awe wears off fast as he tips his hat, ready to skip the pleasantries and get to the loot. As she starts explaining the status screen, Anno just struts right past her, completely ignoring the tutorial. Visibly annoyed, she asks him to at least pretend to listen to her instructions. Trying to get back on script, she tells him to open the chest, only to see he has already done it. He pulls out another basic copper sword, complaining about the duplicate loot while she demands some gratitude. Suddenly, a tutorial monster spawns in, but the goddess does not even flinch. She just calmly announces that an enemy has appeared, like it is all part of the show. It is a tiny fire elemental and she tells him to get ready for his first big fight. Anno just one-shots the thing without a second thought, leaving the goddess wishing he'd at least struggled a little. This goddess tries to get her tutorial back on track, congratulating him on the win. Anno just stands there, completely ignoring her because he has a much better plan. With a firm grip on his sword, he prepares to absolutely break the game's sequence. A massive sword slash rips right into the dungeon wall, much to her utter shock. Our boy just keeps swinging, determined to cause as much property damage as possible. Green energy beams carve up the sacred architecture, which is definitely not in the script. This finally gets a reaction as the goddess is absolutely furious, screaming at him to stop. Anno just smirks, thinking that if he pushes her just a little more, he will get what he wants. His goal is to trigger her transformation into the hidden level 0 boss, the goddess of black rage, and it is working as her rage starts twisting her into that very same dark goddess. He even notes how much she resembles the boss from his game guide. The plan is perfect. According to his research, defeating this form makes her drop a very specific item. That item is the Crown of Thorns, the one and only key to the sealed treasure room. It all clicks. The eternal prison from the game was this tutorial dungeon the whole time. Turning to her with a smug grin, he asks if she knows anything about that special chest. She tries to play it cool and get back to the tutorial, but the damage is already done. So Anno just swings his sword again, deciding to speed up the process himself. A terrifying smile spreads across her face as the darkness finally takes over. She fully transforms, screaming at him to listen, now a crowned, shadowy figure. Anno is completely unfazed, his smirk confirming the hidden boss has appeared right on schedule. Turns out being a tutorial NPC for eternity makes you just a little bit homicidal. With glowing red eyes, she roars that he cannot just piss her off and walk away. She lunges forward with a furious scream, ready to tear him limb from limb. Anno barely manages to parry her clawed hand with his sword, sparks flying everywhere. But the sheer force of the blow sends him skidding backwards across the stone floor. Even he has to admit she is way tougher than he expected for his current level. Her demonic claws are practically vibrating with the intent to shred something. Before he can recover, she is on him again, swiping with blinding speed. He realizes way too late that he is not fast enough to dodge this one. And a brutal slash tears right across his chest, sending blood flying. His sword gets knocked clean out of his hand, leaving him totally defenseless. This goddess is absolutely loving this, cackling about how long she has wanted to unleash hell. Apparently she has run this tutorial over 87 million times, a pretty solid villain origin story. Thinking she is won, she looks down at where his body should be, calling it a close fight. Except Anno is not there and she is left wondering where the heck he went. Our boy is standing perfectly fine a few feet away, holding her crown and crediting his bluff skill. He has got it, the Crown of Thorns, the legendary key he came all this way for. She is completely stunned, touching her head and demanding to know when he stole it. Anno just gives her the most trollish, self-satisfied grin imaginable. Then he stretches out, declaring the whole fight was actually pretty fun. What a menace. Anno gives the goddess a final troll smile, announcing he is here for her secret treasure. With the key in hand, he walks up to the massive sealed doors at the back of the room. This Crown of Thorns starts glowing, reacting to the ancient lock. And just like that, the giant doors swing open with a cloud of dust. Our boy is absolutely thrilled, shouting that his ridiculous plan actually worked. His eyes widen, reflecting the legendary prize waiting for him inside. A single, ornate treasure chest sits there, practically screaming top-tier loot. He steps up to the goddess's secret treasure, wondering what unobtainable item is inside. Reaching out, he finally opens the lid to claim his hard-earned reward, and he gets the Ring of the Goddess's Blessing, a one-time full heal item, basically an extra life. Anno is losing his mind with joy, celebrating the fact he just broke the game for a legendary drop. But as he is admiring his new bling, he notices something strange about it. Peeking through the ring, he sees something that definitely should not be there. Meanwhile, back in the main hall, the goddess is just passed out on the floor. She starts to stir, groaning as she slowly comes back to her senses. Sitting up, she is completely disoriented, wondering where the heck she even is. Her eyes are still glowing as she tries to piece together what just happened. She remembers losing control to her rage, then looks over to see the aftermath, only to be met with a sight that just leaves her completely baffled, because Anno is just casually chilling in her sacred fountain, giving her a little wave. This goddess is absolutely losing it, screaming at him for desecrating her sacred fountain. Anno, meanwhile, is just having a nice soak, admitting he always wanted to try swimming here. Her rage-addled brain finally notices the treasure room door is wide open. And she sees the whole bizarre scene, him in the pool and the empty pedestal. But then she spots the treasure chest, sitting right back where it belongs, perfectly untouched. Opening it up, she finds the ring is still inside, leaving her completely baffled by his motives. Our boy just casually explains he figured it was her personal treasure, so he left it alone. He saw how old yet cared for it was, realizing it meant something more than just loot. This act of kindness completely short-circuits her, leaving the goddess speechless for once. A memory surfaces of a happier time, standing with two other goddesses at a temple. It turns out the ring was a divine relic, specially crafted just for them. A matching set to celebrate their friendship and the bond they all shared. All three of them wore the rings as a symbol of their powerful connection. And a warm, genuine smile crosses her face in the flashback, a relic of a forgotten joy. They had dreamed of traveling the world together, free and unbound by duty. Back then, she wore that ring every day, dancing in fields with her friends. But in the present, she explains she sealed it away, feeling she'd lost the right to wear it. She truly believed she would never put that symbol of her old self on again. Anno then connects the dots, asking if she has been trapped running this tutorial forever. He totally gets it, comparing her eternal grind to his own past life as a corporate drone. This goddess is just staring at him, completely floored by this sudden act of kindness. Anno, still soaking in her fountain, tells her it is okay to actually have some fun for once. He even starts brainstorming for her, suggesting she add secret passages or just sneak out sometimes. Our boy just shrugs it off, telling her to do whatever it takes to break the monotony. With a surprisingly gentle smile, he says she does not have to be chained to this place forever. This idea of freedom seems to hit her hard, leaving the eternal NPC completely stunned. A genuine smile finally breaks through as she quietly agrees with him, and in a shocking twist, she offers him the very ring he fought so hard to see. He is totally confused as she places the precious item right into his hand, insisting he take it. With a warm expression, she thanks him for helping her remember something truly important. Now fully geared up, Anno promises he will come back to visit her again sometime. She warns him about the enemies outside, which makes him wonder how the world got so messed up. Looking out the massive door, she admits that she has absolutely no idea. Turns out she just heard a mysterious voice and woke up here, trapped in the game just like him. Anno is a little taken aback by this revelation, another piece of the world's bizarre puzzle. Deciding to just roll with it, he says he will try to enjoy this new life for now. Inspired by his carefree attitude, she smiles and agrees to do the exact same thing. A few days later, a new party of heroes arrives, only to find the entrance redecorated. Instead of a goddess, there is a handwritten sign saying she is out and will be back soon, peak professionalism. This new players are absolutely losing their minds, wondering what kind of tutorial this even is. Fresh out of the tutorial, Anno strikes a pose while his little spirit guide floats nearby. He chats with the spirit, wondering what his next big move in this new world should be. A giant news screen gives him an idea, a mysterious new continent full of dungeons to explore. Just the thought of a new adventure has our boy absolutely buzzing with excitement. His guide hypes him up, telling him to go play this new world to the absolute fullest. With a confident grin, Anno is totally ready to start his grand journey and see what is out there. But just as he is about to set off, a sudden buzz from his pocket stops him cold. It is a call from his old gaming buddy, Suwa, which is definitely not on the day's agenda. This voice on the other end is desperate, pleading for help and throwing Anno for a loop. Answering in a panic, he learns his friend went into a simple beginner dungeon and got stuck. Suwa is completely freaking out on the other end, convinced he is about to die. Without a second thought, Anno bolts, promising his friend he is on his way to help. He remembers Suwa as a hardcore, top-ranked player from their old VR game days, so there is no way a pro like him should be trapped in a starter zone, right? A grim look crosses Anno's face as he sprints, trying to figure out what went so wrong. Meanwhile, Suwa is just a mess, crying and clutching his phone for dear life. Anno dives headfirst into a swirling red portal, confirming this is a broken dungeon. Inside, he knows the monsters should not be this tough for a low-level area, which makes him wonder why his expert friend is having such a hard time surviving. He tells his spirit guide there is no time to waste, his friend is in trouble and needs him now. This spirit guide gets all philosophical about friendship because now is totally the time for that. Anno finds his buddy Suwa cowering in a corner, completely ignoring the spirit's life lessons. Our boy is just trying to process how his pro-gamer friend ended up like this. He finally spots him properly, shouting to get his attention in the creepy red cave. Rushing over, Anno checks on Suwa, who looks like he has seen a ghost and is about to cry. Suwa is just so relieved to see him, while Anno demands to know what the hell happened here. His friend admits he thought a beginner dungeon would be a total cakewalk, famous last words. Anno tries to make sense of it, asking if some unlisted boss monster showed up, but Suwa just shakes his head, clutching his arm like something else is wrong. This leaves Anno completely stumped because that was his only logical explanation. Trying to get things moving, he points ahead, saying they will clear it together just like old times, which triggers a flashback to their glory days with Suwa tanking a beast like a champ. Anno, as his old avatar Yuma, dashes forward to back him up, and he swoops in for a clean kill, a perfectly coordinated attack. They celebrate their flawless teamwork, two pros at the absolute top of their game. Back in the present, Anno gets nostalgic, saying this feels just like the good old days. Suwa seems to snap out of his funk for a second, a flicker of recognition in his eyes. Then he spots the classic dungeon reward, pointing out a treasure chest in the distance. He eagerly reaches out to open it, hoping for some decent loot after all that trauma. And his grand prize is a longsword +1. Wow, do not spend it all in one place. Anno tries to hype up the pathetic sword, explaining how enhancements can make anything good. Suwa clutches his new prize, a flicker of hope in his eyes that he can actually fight now. His friend dismisses the rest of the loot as junk, but Anno happily scoops up the copper sand. Our boy is just admiring the sparkly sand, much to Suwa's utter confusion, a true loot goblin. But their little looting session is interrupted by a giant monster hand appearing right behind them. A small, horned demon reveals itself, looking way more menacing than it has any right to be. And Suwa immediately reverts to his default setting, abject terror. Anno, meanwhile, just casually one-shots the thing without even breaking a sweat. He looks back at his friend, completely baffled by how weak this supposed pro-gamer is. This kid knows something is deeply wrong here. This is not the Suwa he remembers at all. They finally arrive at the boss room, the last obstacle standing in their way. Anno tries to give him a pep talk for the final fight, getting a very unconvincing yeah in return. With the goddess's ring on his finger, he pushes open the heavy doors to face the boss. Inside, a big armored bug monster is waiting for them, looking ready for a fight. It lets out a menacing roar, clearly not happy about having visitors. Suwa, of course, looks like he's about to cry all over again. He desperately tries to psych himself up, convinced his +1 sword is the key to victory. And with a surprisingly brave battle cry, he actually charges straight at the boss. This move completely blindsides Anno, who screams at him to wait up. Suwa just keeps screaming, swinging his sword with absolutely zero strategy or form. This boss monster swings down with a brutal, lightning-fast strike, and Suwa's legendary +1 longsword absolutely shatters on impact, a real shocker. His face is just pure, unadulterated, I have made a terrible mistake. With his only weapon gone, the monster looms over him for the final blow. Anno screams at him to get out of the way, trying to warn him. Then our boy swoops in at the last second, parrying the attack like a total pro. He lands between his friend and the beast, asking if Suwa's even alive down there. Suwa, meanwhile, is just completely broken, convinced he is about to die without his sword. Kneeling down, Anno tries to talk some sense into him, asking what the hell is going on. But his friend just screams back that he is terrified. All that pro-gamer swagger is gone. This raw panic leaves Anno completely stunned, realizing something is fundamentally wrong here. Suwa finally admits he thought this would be easy, but reality is nothing like the game. He is freaking out because the monsters are huge, they stink, and they are actually intimidating. Even the gear feels heavy, and the physical strain is way more than he ever expected. Plus, it turns out getting hit by a monster claw actually hurts, who could have guessed? Overwhelmed by it all, he just collapses, insisting he cannot fight like this. As the boss closes in, Suwa can only watch in terror, knowing this is bad. Anno, however, gets a sudden flash of inspiration, remembering an item he picked up. He whips out that pouch of sparkly copper sand he looted earlier, and with perfect timing, he hurls it right into the monster's face, pocket sand for the win. With the monster blinded, Anno tells his useless friend that he will handle this fight. He draws his sword, ordering Suwa to go hide somewhere safe. It is hero time. But a mysterious man with a glorious mustache is watching, commenting on his distraction tactic. This guy seems to dig it though, appreciating the playful flair in Anno's style. Anno clashes with the beast, trying to find a weak spot in its tough hide. He is actually straining here, admitting this thing's defense is seriously tough. His basic copper sword just cannot seem to pierce the monster's natural armor at all. From the sidelines, the mustachioed observer wonders how our boy is gonna break through. Anno takes a second to analyze the boss, noting its thick shell and sharp pincers, and that is when a brilliant idea hits him as he glances at the ring on his hand. He leaps right back into the fray, ready to try out a brand new skill. Suwa, of course, is having a meltdown, screaming that getting close is a death sentence. Anno just tells him to watch, channeling power through the goddess's ring. With his hand glowing, he reaches out and makes direct contact with the monster's pincer. He activates his trump card with a smirk, a skill called Mimic. This ability lets him temporarily copy the target's powers, which seems pretty fair. Anno's logic is flawless. If a sword cannot pierce that shell, then he will just borrow the monster's own weapon to do the job for him. In a flash of light, his own arm transforms into a massive, deadly pincer. This boss monster just stares, completely dumbfounded by this copycat routine. With his new pincer arm, Anno plants his feet, ready to give the boss a taste of its own medicine. He drives the copied weapon straight through the monster's chest, a direct and brutal hit. This impact shatters its tough hide, landing a devastating blow right on the weak spot. But the skill only lasts for 15 seconds, which is a terrible runtime for a cool new power. In absolute agony, the beast stumbles back, wounded but definitely not out of the fight yet. Anno knows he just needs one more clean hit on that exposed chest to finish this. His pincer arm vanishes, leaving him with just his basic sword against a very angry bug monster. Letting out a final battle cry, our boy charges in for one last all-or-nothing attack. And with a massive spray of blood, he lands the killing blow right on its head. Suwa just watches from the sidelines, his brain completely short-circuiting from the shock. Meanwhile, the mustachioed observer is impressed, admitting he was about to step in and help. This monster's body begins to crack and dissolve into light, signaling the fight is truly over. This guy notes that Anno has already mastered the fighting style of a jester. Anno just tips his hat with a smug grin, feeling pretty damn proud of his performance. His reward is a huge level boost and a brand new skill called Playful Spirit. And just like that, they are transported out of the dungeon and back into the city. Anno stretches, enjoying the fresh air, while Suwa is just relieved to have survived it all. Trying to rally his friend, Anno talks about their future, but Suwa just quits on the spot. That sudden declaration leaves Anno completely speechless, unable to process what he just heard. He desperately asks why, reminding Suwa they were supposed to do this together from the start. Anno flashes back to their glory days, laughing about how they were an unstoppable team. But back in the present, Suwa just deadpans that he is still scared, so much for the power of friendship. He insists that last fight proved he is completely out of his depth and cannot fight anymore. Anno just watches, his friend's name hanging in the air with all his disappointment. Suwa then admits watching Anno fight was awesome because he looked like he was having fun. He's just gonna go play other video games until their old one is back online, completely checking out of reality. After Anno accepts this, Suwa asks what our boy plans to do now that he is partnerless. Anno immediately gets hyped about exploring the new continent, his adventure mode fully activated. His friend recalls that area was not even in the game, but then remembers a recruitment ad for a survey team. And just like that, a survey team wanted poster pops into Anno's head, a new quest has appeared. Suwa actually gets a little fired up for him, telling him to go for it, but try not to die. Our boy just gives him a warm, confident smile, totally unfazed by the challenge ahead. With a final fist bump, they agree to go their separate ways for now. Suwa gives a final wave, officially logging off from this whole real-life adventure business. Later, Anno pulls up the article about the government recruiting a team to explore the new continent. It turns out big shot guilds like the Soaring Hawks of the Sky are already signing up for this. Even government-backed guilds are competing for a spot, so the competition is gonna be fierce. He finds the main requirement: you have to be level 15 or higher, which means it is time to grind. Anno also realizes he will need some seriously good gear to even stand a chance in the trials. His solution is simple: find a treasure vault dungeon to level up and get loot at the same time. Anno realizes the application deadline is in 2 days, meaning he has gotta move fast. Meanwhile, at some ridiculously huge corporate tower, a different kind of meeting is underway. This is the HQ for the Takajo Corporation, a name that is about to become very important. Inside, a bunch of guild members are lined up for a very stressful performance review. This boss, Takajo Shoya, announces he is about to name and shame the 2 lowest contributors. A leaderboard flashes on screen and you can just feel the anxiety radiating off everyone in the room. He then proceeds to fire 2 guys on the spot, kicking them out of the guild and the company. Both of them are completely floored, wondering how the hell they are supposed to survive now. Takajo coldly explains their performance was garbage and there is a long line of people ready to replace them. In his eyes, if you cannot contribute, you're literally worthless trash. What a great boss. Then he warns the remaining members that coasting on their reputation will get them absolutely nowhere. To get on the new continent survey team, they will have to go all out in the next treasure vault raid. A blonde-haired woman clenches her paper, realizing she just barely scraped by in 3rd place. She is absolutely fuming that after sacrificing all her sleep, she is still not number 1. With a look of pure intensity, she vows to push herself even harder next time around. Takajo, meanwhile, is having a classic villain monologue about seizing control in these chaotic times. It is all for the sake of some grand ideal he wants to achieve, of course it is. Back with Anno, he is on his phone reading up on this very same guy, a top ranker and corporate president. This article mentions Takajo is already running a guild, making him a major player in this new world. With his new goal set, Anno steps toward a glowing light, ready to start the grind. Anno steps into the treasure vault, surprised to find it is not a total madhouse. His eyes immediately lock onto the enemies shambling through the halls, and what do you know, it is treasure hunter zombies, a classic annoying mob. He knows the only way to put them down for good is to crush their heads. Suddenly, a bullet rips clean through a zombie's skull, doing the job perfectly. This shot came from that blonde woman from Takajo's guild, looking completely unfazed. With another one down, she is already scanning for more targets to meet her quota. But Anno spots a zombie sneaking up right behind her and screams a warning. He leaps into action, a blur of green as he rushes in to intercept the attack. This sudden intervention catches her completely by surprise. Landing smoothly, our boy just asks if she is alright after that close call. Her response is pure rage, accusing him of stealing her kill when her job is on the line. Anno is just completely baffled by this, like, "Excuse me for saving you." A quick status check confirms she is from the Soaring Hawks of the Sky Guild, which explains the pressure. Her name is Natsume Nijika and she looks like she is about to pop a blood vessel. Natsume doubles down, insisting he better not interfere because her performance review depends on this. He tries to explain he was not stealing, just, preventing her from getting mauled. Just then, another guildmate barks an order at her, and she immediately snaps to attention. Watching them, Anno feels it is pathetic they are treating this like a job instead of an adventure. A little spirit pops up asking if he is also on a deadline, but Anno just grins, saying he is here to enjoy the sights. Anno is just soaking in the atmosphere, talking about feeling the history in these ancient ruins. He is in absolutely no hurry, deciding to enjoy the moment and deal with the deadline later. His little spirit buddy pops up, noting that he has really grown into his Jester role. Meanwhile, the Soaring Hawks are already facing down a pair of zombies, all business as usual. Natsume and her partner move in, ready to start clearing mobs with cold efficiency. 2 other guild members review their objective, a quota of 10 enhanced weapons because fun is not on the agenda. From the corner of her eye, Natsume spots Anno just casually strolling down the corridor. Our boy is just loving the vibe, admiring the ancient torches and the smell of rust in the air. Something on the floor suddenly catches his attention, making him pause his sightseeing tour. He crouches down to get a closer look, wondering what he has found. This little spirit zips over, curious about what is so special about this particular dungeon. At that exact moment, the Soaring Hawks hit the jackpot. The treasure room is right ahead. They immediately start looting, pulling out some standard +1 weapons from the chests. One of the guys pops open a barrel, hoping for something a little less boring. But all he finds is a weird, bent little dagger, which is just deeply disappointing. Calling it a complete dud, he just tosses the blade away like yesterday's garbage. Anno swoops in and catches it midair, officially obtaining 1 bent dagger. He inspects his new prize with a grin, thinking its unique shape has a ton of potential. This guild members just mock him, saying they'd rather fight bare-handed than use that trash. Then they get territorial, declaring that all the good weapons and boss rewards belong to them. Anno figures a dud weapon is just a matter of perspective. It all depends on how you use it. While the Soaring Hawks grind through mobs like it is a 9 to 5, Anno is just dancing around zombies. And with a clean slice, he proves his point by taking down a zombie with his new trash dagger. He has already figured out the weird weight balance, a grin on his face as it all clicks into place. Meanwhile, the corporate drones spot the boss room, ready to clock in for the final fight. They march forward in perfect formation because teamwork makes the dream work or whatever. Suddenly, one of them gets his leg caught in a nasty-looking floor trap, whoops. Then another one goes down, both of them completely stuck and crying for help. One of the guys desperately screams for Natsume to save them, his professionalism vanishing instantly. Natsume immediately starts searching for a release switch, her own job performance on the line. Her eyes dart around the room, frantically looking for a way out of this mess. But instead of a switch, a giant stone fist comes flying out of the darkness. A massive stone guardian activates, standing between them and the boss room. She realizes this thing is here to protect the boss, and they just walked right into its trap. Taking aim, she fires an arrow, hoping to put a dent in the stone behemoth. This shot just harmlessly pings off its chest, doing absolutely nothing. In total shock, she cannot believe her attack was completely useless against it. Of course it was useless. The Guardian is a walking tank built entirely for defense. Now she is panicking, realizing her bow does not have the power to take this thing down. And to make things worse, the trap's off switch is right behind the giant unkillable golem. Anno just casually points out the switch behind the giant golem, asking if that is the target. With a confident tip of his hat, he declares he will handle it, holding his trash dagger. This trapped guild member freaks out, screaming that he is insane for trying to use a dud weapon. Our boy just smirks at his spirit buddy, saying these little brats just do not get it. As the dagger starts glowing, he explains that even this weapon has its hidden uses. And just like that, a skill reveal shows the bent dagger transforms into a homing flash boomerang. Natsume is completely floored, watching this piece of junk suddenly power up. Her trapped teammate is also having a full-blown crisis, unable to comprehend what he is seeing. Anno gives the boomerang a flick, telling it to show them what it can really do. In a brilliant arc, the blade flies past the golem, hits the switch, and ricochets back. This stone guardian immediately deactivates, crumbling into a pile of useless rocks. At the same time, the floor trap retracts, freeing the stunned guild member. Natsume cannot believe he disabled the trap and the guardian with a single impossible shot. Anno just casually catches his returning weapon, saying he figured there'd be traps. He'd been carefully checking his surroundings the whole time, unlike the corporate drones. With a grin, he says even a dud deserves a chance to shine, and now only the boss is left. These two freed guild members, however, are just lying on the floor looking completely broken. Natsume runs to her partner, who is furious they got caught just one step from their goal. He slams his fist on the ground, realizing if they fail this mission, they are getting fired. This poor guy is spiraling, knowing there will be absolutely nowhere left for them to go. Her injured partner insists they will still hit their quota if they can just beat the boss. He is clearly in absolute agony, trying to force himself to stand on his mangled leg. Natsume immediately tells him to stop, knowing he cannot possibly fight in that condition. With a grim look, she decides that if it comes down to it, she will just have to go alone. She then declares she will take the boss down herself, all for the sake of the mission. Her partner just accepts this, telling her they are counting on her to fix their screw-up. Standing tall, Natsume vows to see their ideal through, no matter what happens to them. Anno, meanwhile, is just watching this whole corporate loyalty meltdown from a distance. He picks up the discarded trap, noting it is nasty but did not seem to cause any critical wounds. Turning to the guild members, he basically asks what the hell they think they are doing. Natsume immediately gets defensive, telling him they are out here putting their lives on the line. She warns him to stay out of her way because she has a very important goal to accomplish. Anno just cuts to the chase, asking if she means her quota, which she says is just a given. Apparently, they are all looking towards some grand ideal that lies beyond their performance reviews. This gives Anno a hilarious flashback to his old office job and their mandatory morning ideal chance. Natsume stares down the boss door, saying she cannot falter because Takajo gave her this purpose. And that purpose is the ideal of building a new world. She is completely bought into the hype. She vows to answer that call with everything she has got, ready to face the boss alone. Anno finally connects the dots to Takajo's guild from the news, wondering if this devotion is even sane. He remembers his old corporate life, where that kind of loyalty just left everyone looking dead inside. With a heavy thud, the boss room doors swing wide open, revealing a long, spike-filled hallway that is basically one giant death trap. At the far end, the boss activates, a four-armed mechanical guardian surrounded by swinging maces, and this thing has a seriously creepy grin like it is enjoying its job way too much. Anno immediately identifies it as a treasure guardian, a magic-powered bot that hunts down any looters, which means they will have to dodge this entire murder room while fighting it. Natsume wastes no time, leaping into the air to fire off a shot. Her focus absolute as she aims for a quick, decisive blow. Her arrow just pings harmlessly off its armor, doing absolutely zero damage. A swinging mace nearly takes her out, and she complains she cannot get a clear shot. So now she is screaming at Anno for help, demanding he pull another trick shot like before. But Anno explains his boomerang is useless here since the traps will just mess up its flight path. Deciding he will have to use that other method. But first he needs to create an opening somehow. With traps firing non-stop, he is not even sure if his crazy plan is possible. Natsume, of course, is losing her patience, yelling at him to stop mumbling and do something useful. But while she is distracted, the guardian looms right over her, ready to strike. Anno shoves her out of the way at the last second, taking the full force of the blow himself. And she hits the floor, completely stunned by the sheer power of that attack. This guardian just stands there, looking down at her after taking out her only backup, leaving Natsume to grit her teeth, realizing it is all on her now. This guardian winds up for a finishing blow, ready to turn Natsume into a corporate-branded pancake, but Anno scoops her up at the last second, dodging a mace that shatters the floor. She immediately starts yelling at him for getting in her way, priorities. Still in his arms, she is ranting about fighting for her ideal, completely detached from reality. Anno just calmly sets her down, telling her to let him handle this little problem. Then he hurls his dagger at the wall, which is a bold strategy against a giant robot. As the blade zips past its head, he declares that is the opening he needed. In the next instant, he grabs her hand, leaving her totally confused. With Natsume on his back, our boy makes a tactical retreat, sprinting away from the boss. She is absolutely losing it, demanding he let her go so she can keep fighting. He just tells her to relax and watch because she clearly does not get the 5D chess he is playing. They bolt right out of the boss room, leaving the guardian standing there all alone. This mechanical menace just stares after them, probably wondering if its programming just crashed. Natsume panics as it starts to follow, but Anno confirms this was his plan all along. He explains this guardian is hardwired to relentlessly hunt down any treasure thieves. With a sly grin, he hints at what that single-minded focus is about to lead to, and the guardian walks right out of its room and straight into a floor trap. Natsume is completely speechless, watching the unstoppable boss get stuck just like her teammates. Turns out Anno tweaked those traps he found earlier, setting up this whole brilliant play. A quick flashback shows him resetting the mechanism, proving he has been 10 steps ahead this entire time. Anno just grins, declaring it is an eye for an eye and a trap for a trap. And sure enough, the Guardian is completely stuck, its creepy grin turning into a furious scowl. He quickly points out the Guardian's power source is that big glowing eye on its face. So for once, Natsume actually agrees to his plan, realizing they need to hit it simultaneously. This trapped Guardian is not going down easy, charging up a massive counterattack with its hands, unleashing two devastating beams of light right down the corridor toward them. Both of them split up instantly, dodging the attack with intense focus, barely evading the blasts as they slam into the wall with explosive force. Of course, his spirit buddy immediately complains that he dodged into its lane, priorities. Still stuck, the Guardian desperately lunges forward, trying to grab them from a distance, its fists smashing the ground and sending a shockwave cracking the floor right at them. Seeing his chance, Anno yells now, his dagger already glowing and ready to fly. While at the same time, Natsume has her bow drawn, locking onto the target with a confident smirk. In a perfectly timed strike, both the arrow and boomerang slam directly into the Guardian's eye. And just like that, the Guardian powers down, smoking and broken before the victorious duo. With the threat gone, Anno wipes his brow in relief as Natsume finally lets herself relax. But the little spirit chimes in, unable to decide if their teamwork is amazing or a total disaster. A massive level-up notification pops up, and Anno cheers about finally qualifying for the survey team. In the Guardian's place, a bright green orb of light materializes, the boss drop. Our boy just stares up at the floating loot, wondering what kind of prize they just won. This boss drop materializes, and Anno is already losing his mind, hoping it is a rare item. It is a spell-piercing rapier, a legendary weapon that ignores defense, perfect for the boss they just killed. Anno is absolutely thrilled, declaring his Jester luck has finally decided to pay out for once. Natsume, however, is having a completely different reaction, her eyes wide with a sudden, desperate idea. Remembering her mission, she decides she'd better go check the actual boss room chest for loot. Without another word, she sprints off into the now-safe treasure room to find it. She quickly locates the chest and throws it open, hoping for one last item to save her job. Inside is a morning star, a pretty basic but definitely functional piece of gear. Clutching the weapon, she breathes a sigh of relief. It is the 10th one, and her quota is finally cleared. She walks back to Anno, offering a stiff, almost robotic thank you for helping her. He just smirks back, asking if she actually had any fun, a question that completely stumps her. His spirit buddy pops up, gushing about how turning the dungeon's traps on the boss was an exhilarating play. This phrase, heart-tracing, seems to strike a chord, leaving Natsume flustered and looking away. Anno just does a little twirl, telling her she really needs to learn how to loosen up a bit. He gently suggests that it is okay to just enjoy herself sometimes, a concept she clearly does not understand. With a casual wave, he bids her farewell and steps into the glowing exit portal, his job done here. Left alone in the corridor, Natsume internally rejects his advice, insisting she has no need for freedom. She clenches her fist, reaffirming her brainwashed loyalty to her boss Takajo's grand ideal, and yet she cannot help but admit she has never imagined anyone could fight with such brilliant, unconventional tactics. This scene then cuts to a door ominously labeled President's Office, hinting at where this all started. In the President's office, Takajo gives Natsume the most unenthusiastic good job on her quota. He then orders her to pass the selection test for the new survey team, no excuses allowed. Takajo also tells her to keep monitoring Anno, thinking the kid might have his uses. Natsume just gives a cold understood, her loyalty absolute and a little bit terrifying. We then cut to the sprawling exam site for the new continent survey team selection. Anno is there, practically buzzing with excitement for his big shot at joining the team. An announcer on a high platform officially kicks off the exam for all the gathered elites. Apparently, the world is in crisis with dungeons popping up and a whole new continent to explore. A small, nervous-looking adventurer listens as the announcer warns of the unknown dangers ahead. This mission is incredibly dangerous, and any screw-ups with the locals are strictly forbidden. Using a megaphone, he declares they are only picking 10 top-class individuals for this high-stakes job. This exam itself is broken into 3 parts, a written test, a gathering test, and a mock battle. But the very first task is a surprise. Everyone has to immediately pair up into teams of 2. Our boy is totally caught off guard, realizing he is all alone in a sea of strangers. A 5-minute timer suddenly appears, forcing everyone to make a choice under intense pressure. And the penalty for failing to find a partner is instant disqualification, no second chances. With no time to waste, Anno starts scrambling through the crowd to find literally anyone. He spots that small adventurer from before and quickly taps them on the shoulder. Putting on his best "please do not leave me hanging" smile, he asks if they will team up with him. This little adventurer pulls up his profile, sees he is a jester, and is immediately unimpressed, a hard pass. Anno tries asking another warrior to team up, but she just brushes him off, ouch, another rejection. Meanwhile, some loudmouth blonde dude is holding court in the middle of the crowd, and this guy's ego is off the charts, literally shooing away someone for daring to speak to him. He then pulls out a device and scans Anno's profile for the whole world to see. This jerk, Shimada Kippe, publicly mocks Anno's jester class, asking what it is even good for. With only 1 minute left on the clock, our boy is starting to seriously sweat. He is spiraling, knowing disqualification is seconds away, but also not wanting a random, useless partner. Suddenly, a voice from behind offers to pair up with him, a last-minute lifeline. Ano turns around, and of all the people in the world, it is a very familiar face. Yep, it is Natsume, reintroducing herself like they did not just almost die together in a dungeon. They both breathe a sigh of relief, having officially become a team just under the wire. Trying to be friendly, Ano offers a handshake, ready to start their partnership on a good note. But Natsume just walks right past him, leaving his hand hanging in the air, ice cold. Our guy is just left there completely bewildered by the instant rejection. She makes it crystal clear she is not here for friends and will just use him for the exam. Then she sprints off, once again dedicating her every move to her boss's weird ideal. This first test begins, and it is a written exam of all things. Ano immediately hits a wall, chewing his pencil in absolute academic agony. The sheer mental strain is causing him physical pain. This is not his strong suit. Natsume glances over, her expression screaming, "I cannot believe I am partnered with this idiot." This announcer reveals the written exam results, declaring anyone ranked 21st or lower is out. Ano is literally praying he did not flunk, while Natsume just glares, already expecting the worst. And by the skin of their teeth, they snag 19th place. A win is a win, I guess. Natsume is furious they rank so low, but Ano explains the tested questions she'd never even seen. She fires back that it was all common sense, leaving our boy completely lost in the sauce. He then admits his strategy was just picking the answers that sounded the most fun. A genius at work, folks. Meanwhile, the #1 spot goes to a power couple named Kiria Soma and Shino Azuhi. All eyes turn to a pair of incredibly confident-looking adventurers, the clear top dogs of this exam. Natsume recognizes them instantly as the Crimson Blade, a famous duo already getting sponsor deals. This power couple looks smug as hell, having absolutely crushed the first part of the test. Getting focused, Natsume asks Ano if he is ready to risk his life for what is next. He just gives her a breezy smile, telling her to relax a little, it is not that serious. This next stage is announced, a collection test inside the ominous Cave of Forgotten Time. Apparently this place is a twisting maze designed to mess with your sense of direction. Their mission is to find 3 special gems and escape within a 2-hour time limit. As the teams start heading in, the proctor adds one tiny, very important warning. This particular cave has become a den of monsters just to keep things interesting. With a final good luck and try not to die, the adventurers are sent into the darkness. Almost immediately, Ano and Natsume spot their first prize, a glowing gem embedded in the wall. He easily plucks it out, celebrating their great start with 2 more to go. Natsume is all business, telling Ano to hurry up and find the other gems while watching for monsters. But while she is focused, his spirit buddy is just chilling with a little halo over its head. Ano then spots a strange, glowing vein of energy running along the cave wall. He quickly deduces that it is a trail of magic that gets stronger the deeper they go. With a huge grin, he points the way forward, totally confident he has found the right path. Natsume suddenly looks up, her expression shifting as she senses something ahead. Up in a high alcove, they spot their second gem, protected by a shimmering barrier. He smirks, saying it is an easy grab if they just shatter the barrier with a ranged attack. But before they can move, they realize they are not alone. The Crimson Blade dude was right there. This guy Soma just smiles and says they can have it, claiming his team will look elsewhere. And just like that, the top-ranked team walks off, leaving the prize completely uncontested. Natsume is genuinely impressed, realizing their confidence comes from pure strength, not arrogance. A moment later, Ano's boomerang smashes the barrier, sending the second gem tumbling down. Natsume catches it with ease, and Ano happily confirms that is #2 in the bag. With 1 more to go and plenty of time left, they are both feeling pretty good about their odds. Elsewhere in the cave, we find that loudmouth jerk Shimada and his tiny, unfortunate partner. Shimada is already complaining about his teammate, wishing he'd paired up with a hot warrior instead. Classy. A tiny, harmless-looking jellyfish monster floats up to them, looking like a total pushover, which then immediately proceeds to electrocute his partner into a crispy, screaming mess. Shimada just laughs, asking if the guy's dying while his partner begs for help, truly a model citizen. Shimada sighs, reluctantly agreeing to step in, guess he is done watching his partner suffer. With a shield bash, he intercepts the jellyfish monster's attack just in time. His tiny partner is so grateful, thanking his Aniki for the last-minute save. Shimada just winks, admitting it'd be bad for his footage if the little guy actually croaked. Then he leans in to mock the kid's terrified expression. What a stand-up guy. After all that drama, he complains they have barely made any progress finding gems. His partner holds up their single gem, stressing they need a better strategy and fast. Already lost in the maze, Shimada worries they are on the fast track to disqualification. This sends the little guy into a full-blown meltdown about his dream of joining the team despite his bullies. In his desperation, a new, probably terrible idea starts to form. He begs his Aniki to just hear him out on this one crazy plan. This 2 of them huddle up as the little guy lays out his scheme. And with a greasy thumbs up, Shimada is totally on board. This is gonna be a disaster. Elsewhere, another team, a guy in a witch hat and a girl in red, are exploring the cave. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream echoes through the cavern, catching their attention. This girl points towards the sound, and her partner agrees they need to investigate. They find Shimada getting absolutely zapped by a swarm of those jellyfish monsters. Realizing the guy is in deep trouble, the duo decides they have to intervene. This wizard hat guy draws his blade and charges straight into the fray, while his partner draws her bow, lining up a perfect shot on one of the creatures. Shimada, ever the actor, thanks the duo for the rescue, playing the victim card perfectly. This girl is relieved they got there in time, but her partner immediately asks where Shimada's teammate is. Right on cue, the tiny partner pops out from behind a rock, looking way too shifty for this to be a coincidence. With a glint in his eye, he yells now, springing the trap they'd obviously set up. He zips past the wizard hat guy, using a brick steel skill to snatch their collected gems. This little thief celebrates his successful heist, leaving the good Samaritans completely stunned. His partner is absolutely furious, screaming at the kid to give their stuff back. But before they can react, Shimada slams his fist into the ground, unleashing a powerful shockwave, which sends both of them tumbling hard onto the cave floor, totally incapacitated. This tiny partner gives a nice one to his Aniki, the betrayal now officially complete. Standing over their victims, Shimada and his partner gloat about how easily the chumps fell for their act. With 3 gems now in hand, they declare victory and make a run for the exit. This girl cannot believe they fell for a simple steal skill, totally outplayed by the 2 jerks. Her partner knows they are done for if they do not get those gems back and fast. He helps her to her feet, their teamwork a stark contrast to the scumbags who just robbed them. After a quick thank you, he declares they are going after those 2 with no time to waste. He immediately breaks into a sprint, fueled by pure unadulterated rage. His eyes are blazing with determination. He is not letting them get away with this. But as they round a corner, he suddenly yells stop at another team that has just appeared. And it is Shino from the Crimson Blade, looking completely unimpressed by their sudden appearance. This wizard hat guy and his partner look down to find the 2 scumbags who just robbed them, and it looks like karma came calling. They are surrounded by crystal monsters and begging for help. These things are identified as crystal golems, and they look absolutely terrifying. His partner is having none of it, immediately accusing them of trying to pull another scam. This tiny partner desperately swears this time it is for real, panicking for his life. Even Shimada has to admit they have zero credibility after their last stunt. With tears streaming down his face, the little guy just begs them to save them. From his perspective, the duo they just betrayed are now their only hope for survival. But the wizard hat guy actually wants to give them the benefit of the doubt, much to his partner's shock. His logic is simple: if this is not a trick, then these 2 are about to get squashed. Summoning his sword, he declares he'd rather be fooled again than just stand by and watch them die. His partner just groans, completely over her teammate's bleeding heart hero complex. She reluctantly agrees to help, but only if they promise to return the stolen gems. This act of kindness completely floors the tiny partner, who cannot believe they are being helped. He is even more confused by the wizard hat guy's face, wondering if he is actually enjoying the situation. In a total 180, the little thief is now thinking this guy is the coolest person he has ever met. This wizard hat guy immediately leaps into action, unleashing a powerful slash against the golem. His new fanboy warns him that even Shimada's attacks were totally useless against this thing. With a confident smirk, our hero just points and says he has already got it figured out. He then prepares another glowing attack, ready to show them how a real adventurer handles business. His sword special skill ignores defense and deals triple damage to inorganic foes like golems. His partner draws her bow, yelling that she will draw its attention for him. But the crystal golem is way too fast, easily weaving through her volley of arrows. While it is distracted, the wizard hat guy closes the distance for a killing blow. He lands a perfect stab right into the golem's glowing chest core, a direct hit. Cracks spread across its crystal body as the rapier's magic starts to overload it. This attack totally worked, but now he is surrounded by the rest of the golem squad. He parries a strike from a purple golem, holding his own against the sudden swarm. From his blind spot, another one rushes in and he is completely caught off guard, with a crystal fist about to rearrange his entire face. Then out of nowhere, the tiny thief actually intercepts the blow, saving his new hero. This little guy flashes this incredibly creepy grin, clearly getting a huge kick out of this. Our wizard hat hero just smirks back, giving the thief boy some grudging props. Using that opening, he leaps back into the fray, not wasting the opportunity. His eyes are locked on the target, completely focused on the fight ahead of him. Even Shimada jumps in, blocking a punch from another golem. The scumbags are actually helping. He plays it off like he just slipped, because admitting you did something useful is just too hard. His tiny partner offers a quick thank you, keeping the Aniki act going strong. With his unlikely new allies covering him, our hero moves in to finish the last one. This final golem's core flares up, its crystal body cracking with raw, unstable power. With the last golem shattered, Jester offers a hand, coolly announcing that it is all over. This tiny thief is a blubbering, star-eyed mess, immediately calling his savior Jester Aniki. He is now bowing and pledging his eternal loyalty, a pretty big swing from robbing them 5 minutes ago. Jester's partner is having none of it, calling the kid shameless and making it clear he is still on her list. Her scolding is cut short when she spots a purple gem glittering among the golem's remains. Picking it up, she realizes with a jolt that it is one of the quest items they were after. Jester quickly connects the dots. The 3 golems they fought were each powered by a gem, and just like that, they have collected all 3, completing the objective right under the wire. Back in the main cavern, the teams who passed the test gather before an exam official. A proctor with a megaphone announces that the 12 successful pairs will advance to the mock battle. Everyone breathes a collective sigh of relief, knowing there is just one more test to go. Nearby, 2 other contestants are gossiping about a girl crying by herself in the corner. This rumor is that her partner got separated and was killed by a monster, and it was not a pretty sight. A knight in shining armor is comforting her, putting on a very convincing performance of sympathy. He and his own partner apologize profusely, claiming they were just a step too late to save him. But a strange look in his eye suggests there is way more to this story than he is letting on. His hands are perfectly clean, not a single scratch on them from this supposed rescue attempt. A quick flashback reveals the brutal truth. He is the one who actually took her partner down. With a twisted grin, the knight apologizes for being too strong. What a complete psycho. Now this same two-faced knight is staring down Jester's crew, as the little thief warns his Aniki that this guy is bad news. Two new guys had a brilliant plan to steal the boss kill, but Jester's crew one-shotted it. This taller one, Shimada, warns his partner that Jester's team are not just strong, they are thrill killers. His tiny companion is terrified, saying they are way too powerful and will just get them killed. So the little guy immediately suggests they bail, and Shimada is 100% on board. As they flee, the kid offers a pathetic sorry, promising to visit their graves later. What a stand-up guy. Meanwhile, Jester is not running, deciding he has to say something before it is too late. He tells the Psycho Knight to stop right now, threatening to report his actions to the examiners. This knight just gives him the most punchable smirk, completely unfazed by the threat. It is a simple calculation for him, their word as beloved heroes against a bunch of nobodies. With a chilling grin, he asks who the world is gonna believe, and Shimada looks absolutely gutted. Hearing this hits a nerve, and Shimada clenches his fist, clearly furious about something. A flashback reveals his past as a boxer facing an opponent in the ring. He won that fight completely fair and square with a solid punch to the face. But his opponent, a popular fighter, went on social media and lied, claiming Shimada cheated. This public turned on him instantly, and the false accusations forced him into retirement. So he figured if he is an outcast, he might as well make it entertaining and started streaming. Being a player is just a means to an end, creating content for his channel to get views. He thought he could just drift through life putting on an act, but that is not working anymore. Back in the present, he is radiating pure rage, admitting guys like that knight still make his blood boil. His little partner is totally confused by the sudden change, asking his Aniki what is going on. And just like that, the Psycho Knight is stomping Jester into the floor, a real class act. This knight leans in, promising to take his sweet time with the torture, super heroic stuff. With a completely unhinged grin, he demands Jester scream for him, just loving this. Pinning him to the wall, the knight's true colors are showing, and Jester's finally seeing the monster. But then, Jester's eyes dart to the side, spotting something unexpected in the chaos. It is Shimada and his tiny partner, and of course they are live streaming the whole beatdown. Our Psycho Knight is furious, demanding to know why these two clowns are crashing his party. This little guy nervously explains they had a hunch and followed them, for content. He is sweating bullets though, because this is way more real than he bargained for. Declaring this payback for the golem save, they announce they have got Jester's back. What a glow-up. Jester cannot help but crack a small smile at his new, incredibly unreliable backup. This knight is pissed his fun got ruined, but his partner steps up, ready to fight. She immediately rushes in with a war cry, clearly just as charming as her teammate. A shield lock skill erupts, completely trapping Shimada in a cage of blue energy. Shimada just grins through it, saying he has been itching for a real fight anyway. His opponent raises her hammer, ready to deliver some good old-fashioned judgment to his face. Meanwhile, Jester's partner is on the ground, genuinely thanking the scumbags for the save. Seeing an opening, she gets to her feet and draws her bow, not wasting the opportunity. She charges up a massive shot, an arrow glowing with enough power to rival a gun. With intense focus, she just needs them to buy her a few seconds to line up the perfect shot. This tiny thief grins, holding up a flash bomb and telling everyone he has got this. With a quick toss, he lobs the rogue smoke right at the Psycho Knight's feet. It detonates in a massive cloud, completely obscuring their vision for a crucial moment. Jester uses the confusion to break free, grateful for the unexpected assist from the scumbags. Across the room, Shimada is still trapped in that energy cage, getting absolutely pummeled by the hammer girl. His partner's bow is now fully charged, her eyes locked on the target with deadly focus. She unleashes the burst arrow, a massive beam of pure energy streaking across the cavern. Her shot lands perfectly, blasting the hammer girl right in the back while she is distracted. But the Psycho Knight manages to dodge, the arrow's power carving a huge gouge in the ground. He parries the residual energy with his sword, furious that his little torture session got interrupted. Suddenly, he realizes his sword is gone, looking down at his empty hand in total shock. Turns out the tiny thief used the smoke as a distraction to pull off a quick steal. What a legend. Without a second's hesitation, he tosses the stolen blade straight to his new Aniki. Jester catches it perfectly, ready to end this psycho's little power trip for good. A new skill activates. Playful spirit, and the stolen sword begins to glow with an eerie blue light. This blade transforms completely, revealing its true form as the legendary Evil Slayer. He marvels at the weapon, realizing this is how it was always meant to be used for justice. For the first time, the knight actually looks scared, taking a hesitant step back from Jester. His smug facade is completely gone, now just desperately telling Jester not to come any closer. And Jester does not waste a second, lunging forward and running him clean through with his own sword. Jester's eyes burn with cold fury as he declares the knight's actions are completely unforgivable. This Psycho Knight is pinned underfoot, the glowing sword still skewering him to the floor. With both villains down for the count, the new crew walks away, leaving them to their fate. Later, in a massive ice cave, all the remaining contestants gather for the final stage of the exam. Turns out our unlikely new squad actually teamed up to take down a huge griffin boss together. Some Sutentai official announces the exam is over, with 10 names making the final cut. And look at that, the whole unlikely crew is celebrating, all 4 of them passed. His partner grabs his arm, absolutely ecstatic, while Jester just plays it cool, of course. Her excitement quickly fades, though, replaced by a much more pensive expression. But she shakes it off, offering him a high five, which he happily returns. Sometime later, she is standing in a massive, sterile office before some important-looking guy at a desk. This blue-haired suit is impressed, thinking Jester is way more capable than he thought and perfect for his guild's plans. He then offers her a mysterious item, telling her to use it on the new continent when she sees an opening. And it is a super creepy one-eyed doll that can mind control anyone who stares at it for 10 seconds. Jester's partner is horrified, immediately recognizing it as a mind control device. Her blue-haired boss pressures her, claiming it is all for the sake of their righteous ideal. Yeah, right. Stealing herself, she clenches her fist and agrees, though she clearly does not like this one bit.